Hello and welcome to our monthly class. My name is Gloria Ramirez. For those of you who haven't met me yet, and I haven't had the pleasure to meet you, welcome to this class today. I am so grateful that you either are present or you are going to be listening or are listening to the class right now, whatever time is perfect for you to listen to it. I'd like to go ahead and start with the topic of today, which is what's in your garden. And this is an amazing, wonderful topic that gives us the great opportunity to really look inward inside of us to see what are the things that we can do to change maybe some items in that garden. And I'll explain myself so that way hopefully it's clear. It's so the garden is that aspect of your life, those aspects of your life that compose your life. And just as a garden needs our care, our lives are also like gardens entrusted to us by our Creator. God has given us this life, and we have the opportunity to do our very, very best. Remember that life is a continuous journey on growth and transformation. And just like a garden requires nurturing and attention, and the same thing, our lives. So we must continue on this journey every day and embrace the opportunity to cultivate our own garden, sowing the seeds of happiness, fulfillment, and personal growth. With each effort that we make, we are going to obviously see the results. It's the same as with each new flower you plant. Your life will also blossom into a very wonderful tapestry of love and joy. The secret is to be willing to understand that we are the creators, that we are creating our reality with the thoughts that we have in our minds, with the actions that we take every day, and with the language that we speak. So that's why it's important to remember that, not from a space of being critical, self-critical, not at all, because we all have made mistakes. But the secret about that is that all we have to do is get up and do our best to do it better, to really improve our behavior, our language, our thoughts. That's what it is. It's not about us staying in a space of sorrow and feeling guilty or anything like that. It's an invitation for us to get out of that like kind of victim mentality and go into a victorious mentality, a mentality of someone who knows that if he or she is going to be giving your very best, then your very best is going to come out. So remember, just like a garden, it requires nurturing, attention, and occasional changes to thrive. And changes, again, in our personality, in our habits, in our ways of thinking that might be limited. And again, please understand that this is not from the space of self-judgment or guilt or self-resentment or regret, feeling regretful. It's about us taking responsibility. And that's the wonderful thing. When we take responsibility with self-love, with self-compassion, then we are able to do a wonderful job. So just like a gardener tends to their plants, nurturing them with care, you also have the power to tend to your habits and to shape your own life. And we are going to talk about some ideas that hopefully will help you to really connect to this idea of creating a wonderful garden. So take a moment to reflect on what you have planted in your own garden. So just think about right this moment on the things that you have planted on your own garden, and meaning the seeds of love and the seeds of peace, the seed of love, all those seeds that are positive and that you know that as you continue to water them and all of that, is going to produce more of the same. So take a moment to reflect on what you have planted in your garden, again, not from the space of self-criticism. If you have planted great flowers and great seeds like forgiveness and trust and faith, then that's very good, wonderful. However, if you have planted some of the things that are not exactly the best, that you are not satisfied with, then do not put yourself down at all, not even for a second. All you have to do is just say, okay, I am realizing that I could have done better and I will do better. So that is an attitude of self-love. So again, you do it from that level of compassion, and then I promise you that as you do it from that level of compassion, you are going to want to make the changes. Why? Because you are not putting yourself down. So if you feel that you need to make some changes in your garden and plant new flowers, new seeds, the seed of forgiveness, for example, do it with love, with compassion, not regretfully, because God is never about judging you or putting you down. God is about progressive learning, meaning that little by little, step by step, even if it is baby steps, we get to the final destination, which is to be in ecstasies, to be in nirvana, to be illuminated, to be in samadhi, whatever term you use for that final realization where we don't have ego any longer. And so think about that. Think about what you have planted in your garden. Are there areas where you can introduce new seeds, and also including new ways of relating to others? Are new ways in which you can maybe even obviously have more balance in your life, more like including having fun and having hobbies and friends that you go to the movies, and you combine that with your work and your other activities, and are you having balance in your life? And are you planning to introduce more relationships that bring you joy and more enthusiasm into your life? All of that can be done from a space of peace, a space of knowing that we always have amazing, how can I say, opportunities, because God is all about opportunities. So again, take a moment and feel what changes you think you can make to create a more fulfilling life. Maybe let's say that relationships are a little bit of a challenge. Okay, you forgive yourself, and then you say, maybe what I need to do here is set up boundaries and then learn to do that. Or what I have to do in that relationship is to forgive and to really be willing to let go of the past. So very many different ways in which you can go ahead and change whatever is happening in your life. By tending to your garden with love and with care, you will witness that it will flourish, and then it will obviously get better and better every moment. So now, the other question to you, or the other idea, is, as you take this opportunity to reflect on the choices that you have made, think about the areas that you have, like the seeds that you have planted. I'm very sure all of you have planted all these seeds that I'm going to mention here. These are just a handful, but there are many things that probably you have planted, and celebrate that. You probably have planted seeds of love, like this flower, and germinates its beauty like that. Maybe the seed of kindness, maybe the seed of forgiveness, forgiving everyone on any time that you need to forgive. Maybe the seed of compassion. That's a very important seed, because as you do that, you are able to really not only have compassion for others, but obviously for yourself. And as a matter of fact, you probably know that when you don't have patience, compassion, love, forgiveness for others, you might not have it for yourself. And that's an invitation right there to probably plant the seed of forgiveness, to keep beautifying your garden, okay? And then the seed of patience, that's patience regarding our own growth, patience regarding other people as well, and accepting them as how they are. As a matter of fact, the next one is acceptance. Acceptance is key. Acceptance is key because a lot of times we go through life having so many expectations of people and wanting them to behave in one way or another, forgetting that when we have expectations, we are setting ourselves big time for suffering. Why? Because if the person, and in many cases, the person is not able to fulfill our expectations, then we are going to be disappointed. So instead of have expectations and control others, and to really think that everyone has to think the same way we think, we must work on acceptance. And that's a wonderful quality that can really germinate into amazing relationships. The more we accept others, and the more obviously we're going to accept ourselves, and vice versa. And so I'm very sure that all of you have planted every one of these seeds, and many, many, many more. However, the question also is, to take this opportunity to reflect on the choices you have made. And besides this, have you planted some weeds, or have you allowed some weeds to germinate in your garden? For example, the weeds of criticism, or anger, or fear, or anything. So really, that is when you probably have to be you have to be very honest with yourself and say, okay, I definitely have some forgiveness to do, or I have some fear that sometimes I allow to come into different situations in my life. And so I do have some work to do. And remember, there are so many ways in which you can embrace and these changes. And number one is by you having a relationship with God and being able to ask God to help you. And a wonderful way to have a relationship with God is through meditation and prayer, making sure that every day you take the time to sit down and pray and meditate. And then that way you're able to really connect with God and have a conversation with God, even ask God questions, so God is able to guide your life. And so there are many other ways, obviously, to make the changes, which is using affirmations, visualizations, which is also taking programs, classes, which is also very important. I see great progress in people when they have a coach, when they have a person that helps them and keep them accountable. So there are many, many ways. And so let's go ahead and talk about some of those weeds that might be in the garden. And again, never ever to put yourself down when you do this introspection. Always is with the intention of saying, okay, I want to take responsibility for what I have created and what I need to remove from my garden. Remember that a garden many, many times have to be really, how can I say, you have to just to invest time removing weeds. That's normal in a garden, right? The same thing with your life. It's like, okay, I do have this weed that I need to pay attention. And one big one could be fear. And so imagine that you are saying, okay, I have some areas where I might be fearful, and whatever it is, fear of this, fear of that, all of that can be overcome with your mind, with meditation, with prayer, with really willing to make the changes. And I remember the story that I have shared with some people about when I was living in Florida. I was afraid of these frogs, but they are not frogs, but they are bigger. I think they are called toads, and they are big. And I was so afraid. And it all started when I was a little girl, that my stepmother forced me to clean the leaves of the garden, and there were so many of them. And for a little girl, maybe 8 years old, it was scary. But my stepmother didn't care, just at all, didn't care at all. I just had to do it. So then I developed this fear, and then one day I was like, no, I'm gonna overcome this fear. I'm not gonna go through life just accepting the fear. So, and the reason why I definitely needed to overcome the fear is because at the entrance of my, my house, right next to the main door, there was a little window, and the toad was always sitting there. And I was like, oh God. So at the beginning, I tried to enter the house real fast. And then that's when I decided that I was going to face this fear. And little by little from the distance, I started to talk to it. And I remember calling it Mr. Frog. And then I would say, Mr. Frog, we sooner or later probably have to become friends. And I was just being funny too. But little by little, I got a little closer, and kind of by doing that was releasing the fear, and then little closer. And then I noticed that it wasn't that difficult at all. And then one day I was really close to it. The window was there, and the frog was almost in front of my face. And I said, okay, Mr. Frog, I think now we are friends. It's done. No more free. I'm not afraid of you any longer. And thank you for helping me to overcome this fear. Do you know that the next day that frog was not there? Toe, I think it's called. I forgot the name of it. And it wasn't there any longer. And I was like, oh my goodness, what an amazing confirmation that we can face our fears. So my invitation is that if you have any fears, do not allow fear to really how can I control your life. Do not do that. It's not a good idea at all. Whatever it is, you can always overcome it. And I really do that with anything that shows up in my life about being fearful, and I immediately take action. I really do. And so fear can be replaced with courage, obviously. And that is what we are invited to do, not stay in that space of fear, but instead really be courageous. Another one could be resentment. And the weeds of resentment can really not only affect you emotionally, but you definitely can affect you, your physical body. All of us know that, for example, cancer comes from fostering thoughts of hatred or anger or anything like that. And you must really be willing to say, no, this is not acceptable. I need to work this resentment towards this person. And then you definitely can totally shift your energy. But the thing is that please do not wait to when you are gone from this body, because God has given you such an amazing opportunity to heal and to clear all of this, and that is our responsibility. As a matter of fact, I have to say that I know that it's challenging. I understand. And I have to say that some of you might say, but I cannot forgive that person. That's not forgivable at all. No, everything should be forgivable. Why? Because that's our lesson, the invitation that we have. So I thought that what my dad did to me with not protecting us and being really giving us a very cruel stepmother. I just hated him, and I hated my stepmother. It's a miracle that I didn't manifest cancer, but I could have. Unfortunately, with the program that I entered many years ago, called the 12 Steps, I was able to clear that resentment. And it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of effort, but I did it. So that this is how can I say, something that you cannot afford not to forgive. The other thing too is stress. Well, we live busy lives and all of that, but I forgot, obviously, resentment is replaced with forgiveness, obviously. And stress is that a lot of times we just live such busy lives that we allow the busy lives to kind of come along with stress. We can have busy lives and we don't have to have stress at the same time. I see it here at the spiritual community where I live. It's absolutely amazing. It's almost like living in another planet, because people are very busy, but my goodness, the level of peace and calmness is so amazing. Like, for example, I work for the Spanish ministry here 3 days a week, and I have such high respect for my boss. He is in charge of all the finances and many departments and all of that. And my goodness, he's centered all the time and calm all the time. It doesn't matter what is going on, always calm. I have never seen him stress out ever. And I think it's because he is able to control it, number one, because he meditates every day religiously, obviously, and number two, because he uses the tools of being centered in God, and then knowing that every situation has a solution. So this is a very important topic that is important to address it, and you can remove all of this by really feeling a sense of peace, creating a serenity within. No one is going to give you this serenity. You have to reach out and be willing to be in that space, to enter into that space of peace. Another one could be criticism. And a lot of times people criticize each other only because they are not happy with themselves. When you point the finger at another person, 3 fingers are pointing back at you, which means that there are things that you don't like about yourself that you see in that person, because that person is a mirror for you. So this topic is so important, to let go of criticism and replace it with praising others. replace it with seeing the good aspects of other people, even if it is just one thing. Replace it with acceptance, replace it with prayer. I have many times shared with the group about the prosperity prayer that says, Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. And you say it about 10 times. And then you say, Lord, fill me with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. I love that prayer because it's just, it helps me to be at peace with people instead of criticizing them. So very, very important. So we have so many insecurities. Another one, I am a coach. I have been doing coaching for 23 years, almost 24. And my goodness, one of the challenges that I see in people is the insecurity, is the belief that I'm not good enough. And all of us can really overcome that. And it's coming from the lips of someone who was very insecure. And little by little, I was like, no, I got to work on this. I have to do whatever it takes. And my goodness, my dear friends, I remember, number one, I remember joining an organization called Toastmasters, because that way I could be in front of people and speak and kind of little by little release my insecurity. Then I became the one of the students of Les Brown, who is a very famous motivational speaker, and he definitely pushed me big times. Then I became the student of Bob Proctor, who was an amazing teacher and pushed me to my limits. Then I did a lot of workshops or seminars of walking on hot coals, walking on glass, going up with to like a very, very tall tree with a harness. I mean, you name it, what I did to let go of the insecurity, you name it. I was conscious about how I needed to work on all those, how can I say, behaviors that were limiting me. And by the grace of God, I have been able to really shift my energy and have self-worth, feeling self-worthy about myself. So all of these, as you can see, are so many possibilities of you letting go of the weed, and then really nurturing your garden with wonderful new qualities, as I talk about. And if we are talking about a garden, it is the same thing. You go ahead and plant beautiful flowers or plants or trees or greens, whatever it is. And so you are truly the creator of your life. So we have to just carefully select the finest qualities for our garden. And it all starts with your mind, how you are willing to accept that your essence is the light of God, and that you are going to continue to affirm the light of God. So I invite you to continue to really use that inner power that God has given you, is that amazing force. And then from that force, really work on releasing unwanted weeds in your garden. And then be courageous about it. Know that as you embark on this transformative journey, you are able to really attract into your life amazing new possibilities. If I had not put the effort and the courage to take all those classes, be with all those mentors, be with amazing coaches, I would not be talking to you right now. There is no way I would have been able to overcome that. but I was on a journey to really change my limiting conditioning, my all the programming from childhood. So say bye-bye to all of this with how can I say, with a sense of self-assurance, to fear, to resentment, to stress, to criticism, to insecurity, to jealousy, to anxiety, to procrastination. A lot of times people procrastinate and so much, and there is no need to. Say bye-bye and say, no, I know how to change that. Say bye-bye to gossip, to selfishness, to sadness. A lot of times, oh, I am depressed. Well, how did it happen? Somehow you got there because of the seeds that you planted in your garden. Obviously, you have to be compassionate with yourself to get out of there, no doubt about it. But be very selective about what are you accepting in your mind, which is what you are accepting in your planting in your garden. Let go of judgment, let go of anger, and any form of lack or limitation. Totally let go. Let go for real. Say, that's it. God, help me. You can help me, dear God, and then God will help you. And so then replace all those seeds with the blossoming virtues of trust, of peace, of generosity, of responsibility, of courage, cooperation, kindness, prosperity, you name it. There are so many virtues that you can really, how can I say, like be willing to nourish. And then nourish, look at that, nourish these virtues with an abundance of love, all of that, love for yourself, compassion for yourself, and then with unwavering patience. It won't be long before you witness a garden that truly reflects your desires, your very own paradise. Can you imagine how wonderful that is? You create your own paradise. So give yourself permission to dream, to imagine a garden that is totally full of vibrant colors. Those vibrant colors are your compassion, are your kindness, are your generosity, all of that. Feel that every one of those qualities is a garden. And then you arrange that garden in a way that is going to really bring you fulfilling experiences. And the more conscious you are about arranging that garden, the more you are going to be able to be satisfied with the results. And as a matter of fact, in my own personal journey, as I said already, I share about all the mentors, all the coaching, so many things that I did. And besides that, the other practices that I do religiously is daily prayer and meditation. That's what I do every single day. And then my conscious effort to observe myself, to see how I can, when I spot a habit that is negative, I don't put myself down. I just say, okay, God, please help me to change this habit. And then little by little, it doesn't have to be overnight, but little by little, I can see that the habit starts to just dissolving. Why? Because I'm willing to replace it with something that is empowering. And as a matter of fact, it's very important to remember that to replace, to create new habits, please do not focus at all on the old habits. Don't give it any energy. Don't give it any thought. Don't analyze them at all. Don't talk about the sad story. Instead, give a lot of energy to the new habit, to what you want to develop in yourself. For example, if you want to replace fear with courage, I had a plan with the frog, and little by little, I was able to overcome the fear it was not overnight, but at least I did have a plan. And finally, I was able to be, successful about that. So very important to remember that to replace all habits, you do not give it any energy. You go ahead and give energy to the new habit that you are developing. Very, very important. And then also, and remember that in all this process, emotions are going to show up. Don't worry, just become friends with your emotions. Cry if you need to cry, and know that it's okay to feel sad because of maybe I did have that habit for too long and I feel bad that I did. Well, the good news is that now I'm willing to release the habit. And then that is beautiful that you are putting the effort. So that's what counts. So again, prayer and meditation, the conscious effort to replace all habits with new and empowering ones. Also, paying attention to your emotions, honoring your emotions, doing forgiveness processes is another practice that can really clear the weeds in your garden, and that's what I have done in my own journey. I definitely recommend, and that's what I have done in my own journey, is the use of positive language, the use of thoughts that are positive and actions that are positive. Very, very important, dear friends, to be willing to be positive about everything, to see the glass half full. Another thing that is extremely crucial is being of service to others, and meaning that instead of thinking what is in it for me all the time, I think about how I can help others, how I can be of service, and how I can really, how can I say, help with the betterment of humanity, because we can definitely do that. Help with the way we are doing things, and how we can connect with others, and either reach out if we need help or also offer help. And the other thing that is very important is to do your best, and do your best and leave the rest to God. Do not try to expect that everything is going to be perfect and to control everything, or to expect people, have expectations from people. No, and the opposite. Do your best and then leave the rest to God, that God is going to really, how can I say, guide you as you open your heart to his guidance. God is love, God is guidance, God is really beautiful energy that is always with us. It's a presence that is always with us. So I invite you to embark on this journey of self-discovery, and then strive for the creation of your own personal paradise. We can create paradise here on earth. We can definitely do that. And the thing is that as you create your paradise here on earth, your relationships are going to be stable, nurturing, harmonious. Your work is going to be fulfilling. Your health is going to be optimal. Your level of balance is going to be obviously there. Your level of fun and enjoyment obviously is going to be there too. So everything in your life is going to work in beautiful ways. Now, whenever anything something might not work, then because you have been doing your homework, you are going to be able to embrace the challenge with peace and harmony. You are going to not be out of shape, but instead you are going to be able to really know that you have been doing your best, and this is the solution you see. Maybe you go with that solution, but you continue to be calm. You continue to be happy, you continue to be relaxed. That's how you embrace situations in life that could be challenging. And so I invite you to really continue to create your own personal paradise. And as to those questions that I ask you, you in your own space, you can answer those questions or those, do an introspection of how, what have I planted in my own garden? Or what have I planted? And when you ask that question to yourself, do it from the space of love, not from the space of ever putting yourself down, only from the space of knowing that you want to take responsibility. And then from there, you start making the changes. So do an introspection about what's in your garden and do an inventory of the weeds that are there, and then rush up to remove the weeds. Really hurry up to remove the weeds. Do not contemplate the weeds. Do not talk about the weeds, meaning you don't talk about the problem. You go for the solution. You just go straight for the solution. And then the next thing you know is that you are going to be so satisfied with the results. Dear friends, I looking at my journey and what I have planted in my garden and my whole journey on earth, I just think about how I planted so many weeds at the beginning of my journey as an adult. Oh my goodness, it was so many. The number one probably was resentment. That was the number one. And then selfishness, and then fear, and then insecurity, lack of worthiness. I mean, you name it. And I was so, how can I say, I felt so miserable, so bad. My life wasn't happy at all. And it was awful. And unfortunately, by the grace of God, I always say by the grace of God, because somehow God pushed me to have the courage to start step by step with number one. I started with the 12 steps, which is a program that I guide people to do and is highly successful. I also participated for many years in the Essence of Being with Birch Smith, and that was a transformational experience. And I had great, amazing mentors that also little by little helped me to get out of that insecurity. And then obviously I had many coaches that helped me with forgiveness and anger management, all of that. Little by little, I was unstoppable in the sense of always continuing to just tackle another bad habit, the next one. But I learned little by little to do it with respect, self-respect and self-love. And therefore, it became easier in the sense of my willingness to really do it. And I continue to do it. I'm not saying that I already arrived anywhere, but at least I have been able to shift my behaviors in very, very big ways, in amazing, beautiful ways. So you congratulate yourself for your wonderful successes, and then go ahead and get busy doing your best to clear the weeds and doing a cleansing of your garden. Any negativity, any fears, any doubts, any lack of resentment. And if you need help, obviously I can always help you. All you have to do is just set up a coaching session with me, and I'll be happy to help you. It's a very kind and a wonderful way to love and support yourself. And now to finish the class today, this is the coaching that I was talking about, 12 Steps to Mastery coaching program. It's quite transformational. I think I have mentioned before that people who have taken this program always say that everyone on earth should take this program. It's just life transforming. It's about 16 weeks of coaching and very, very amazing deep coaching that takes you into another level of being. And you are able to leave behind the pain, the stories, the lack of forgiveness, everything. It's quite powerful. I have a lot of testimonials, many, many, many. As a matter of fact, yesterday someone called me about a person that I'm working with in California, and she has been doing so well with the 12 steps. She has done half of the program, and she said to this other person, I highly recommend this program. It has totally changed my life. And she's exactly halfway. And this person called me, we talked, and then this person said, I don't want to waste my time. I'm just going to go for it. And then decided to really start. So that's what I'm talking about, is that that's what I did myself with my own, how can I say, journey of transformation. I really was committed to doing my part and not procrastinating, but just going for the solution. So that's my invitation. And then remember that this class is offered once a month, every month from 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then what I wanted to announce today is that on Thursday, December the 28th, I'm going to do a purification ceremony. And I'm going to send a message to everyone for you to sign up. It's going to be $20 for the ceremony, and it's going to be the time is going to be about between an hour and an hour and a half, depending on how I'm guided. These ceremonies are guided by the Holy Spirit, and I'm just allow the Holy Spirit to guide my voice and whatever I need to say or do during the purification ceremony. That's what I do. And this is an opportunity to leave behind the whatever it is from the year 2023 and welcome the new year 2024. So I will send more information in the near future, so you can go ahead and register. And then the next class is going to be Thursday, January the 4th. And I put the wrong picture there. The class is called 5 Ways to Cultivate Inner Peace. So I don't know, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think so. I will send you the right information when I send the recording of this class. And so it's a different, this is not the topic. The topic is about cultivating inner peace, I am almost sure. And then to finish here today, if you feel that you have been inspired by this class, consider making a contribution at www.gloriaramirez.com/giving. And any amount is welcome if you decide that you like to do that. And then I thank you for your willingness to connect. I thank you for those people that are here present with me, and obviously those that are going to be listening to this recording, because the more we are in alignment with divine law, meaning the law of love, the law of peace, the law of joy, the more we are going to really create heaven on earth, that paradise that we have been talking about. So I deeply appreciate your willingness to connect to these programs, these classes, because it's one by one, we can make a difference in the world. And that's what this is all about, doing our best to make a difference in our world. And then we are going to go ahead and enter a session of questions and answers. And so if anyone has any questions about what I presented or how you can go ahead and put into practice some of the ideas, I'll be happy to help you with that. So let's go ahead and open up the. I am so happy to see every one of you here. Thank you so much for your presence.